Hey everyone, in this video we're going to be talking about expansion lexicons in WordCruncher. If you're creating books in WordCruncher, you may be interested in learning how you set up the all forms feature in WordCruncher. So what I mean by that is if I open the search window of this book that I'm working on putting in the bookstore and by pressing space, and here I have an option that says all forms. And what that function is supposed to do is if I type in a verb like ser and I select it as a verb and I go select it, what I'd expect when I have that all forms feature turned on is that I would find all the different verb forms of the verb ser. And that should be the case if I do any other word. If I were to, let's say, type in another word like pregunta, I would expect to not just look for pregunta, but also preguntas. However, if I go to the search vocabulary report, which is just a nice little summary of all the words that are currently in my search result, you'll notice that I am not getting that. And the reason that is because there's not an expansion lexicon connected yet to this book. Now, if there's always if it's applicable, then I always try to add it to anything that you download in the bookstore. So any books that are in Spanish, for example, I try to make sure to add a Spanish lexicon to it. But if you're adding your own text into WordCruncher, you need to be able to add your own a lexicon on it. WordCruncher has a couple available right now, and we're going to continue expanding our catalog of different ones, but we do have one for English and one for Spanish that you can download. So if you go to the WordCruncher bookstore by going to File, WordCruncher Bookstore, and make sure that you have the collection WordCruncher library and not Gospel library, and then we're going to filter for lexicons. We could scroll if we wanted to, but I prefer using the filters. And then I'm going to go to change, although you may see free if you see this, but it goes to the same menu. And I have the English lexicon installed already, and I've got the Spanish lexicon not installed yet. So what I can do is I can click on install there. And you know, if I open this up, let's say I go close out of that and go to File, Open Book, you should see lexicons near the top of your WordCruncher library. If I open that up, it's really not a very interesting file. You can look at it and you can see here's the head word and you can see the word forms for that word. But that's not really what we're interested in. What we're interested in is making sure that if we were to look for a word like globalizado, then we would be able to find all of these other forms as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the book that I'm working on. It's in my WordCruncher user library. I've got it just titled like this, TED Spanish. And so what you can do is if you have a book that you're working with, you can go to Properties, and then there's an Options button available to it. There's a tab here that says Reference Books. And for some reason I already had it there, but I'll just put it on there again just for it. But like what you'll do is you'll just want to assign the Spanish lexicon onto this reference book. Now if you're using something for English, then you would want to use the English lexicon and then click OK. All right, and so I'm just going to close out of, or I'm just going to open this up again. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to open and I'm going to search for pregunta again. And you'll notice already immediately that I have pregunta and preguntas as an option. And if I go back to that example, ser, you'll notice I'm starting to get all of the different conjugations of the verb ser. If I open up that search vocabulary report, you'll see that there's quite a few. If you're a Spanish speaker, you're familiar with that there are so many. And so basically, this is a nice way of shortening your search queries so that you're not having to type in every different form of ser when you're trying to look for all of them in your search queries. So make sure that if you want to have this functionality in any of the books that you're working on, that you make sure to look for lexicons available in the bookstore and then just adding it into the properties, options, and reference books. So that's all you need in order to be able to add a lexicon. Thanks for watching.